video that I'm putting up today is kind of an interesting story. Let me back up a little bit. 6 years ago, I planted a tree for a client, and over the years, I've been monitoring it and watching it. It's a Scarlet Oak, and I recently took some pictures of it, and then I came back again today, and I want to show you how well the tree has evolved, as well as the beautiful color, because it's in its full fall color right now. So what I'm doing is I'm going to pull some old video from the planting and break it up. It's not going to be the whole video. You'll get a little bit of a taste for it. I will add the link to the original video at the bottom in the comment section. So it's a good video. It's about how to choose a tree at the nursery, what to look for. And because we picked a good tree and did a good job of planting it, it's evolved into something rather spectacular, if I don't say so myself. So let's go check it out. Well, I'm out at the nursery. I've been asked to choose a tree. The client wants a Scarlet Oak. And what I want to do is talk just a little bit about how I make my decisions. So I looked at a lot of these trees, and there was a few trees that I reject, and I want to show you why. I'm looking at all the tops. Now this tree up here was clearly snipped, and it's got 3 new tops coming out. This one up here has a growth habit and then a massive forking up at the top, so that's not very good. I've noticed that some of them have been topped in the past. They've been snipped down and then the new growth has been coming out. This one right here is not a real bad choice. Looking all the way through, I don't see any real serious problems there. This one goes up and it was snipped right there, and now it's got a funny forking. It's not too bad, but it would take a little bit of training. This tree right here, well, it's not real straight, so I would have to put some effort into readjusting it. This one over here, that's not a bad choice. I could do something real nice with that one. But the most important thing that I pay attention to is the size of the boxes and whether or not these trees are root bound. So I dug into one of these and they seem to be okay. I dug around actually in the one that I chose, and it seems to have an adequate amount of roots in the box. So that tells me 2 things. Tells me A, that it's not a freshly replanted 15-gallon pot that got too big that they just stuck in a 24, and B, it tells me that the tree is not totally root bound. Well, here's the one that I chose. Let me get over to this side over here. It's got a nice straight trunk. I don't see any defects. It goes straight all the way up and out, and when I transport it, I'm going to attach it right here, and I'm going to tie it to this spot right here so it doesn't bounce around. I'll probably pull it over just a little bit, and that way all the pressure is on the pole right here and not the trunk of the tree. Alright, when you buy one of these big trees, what you don't want to see is massive big roots wrapping all the way around. This has got a little bit going on in here, but this is about right for a tree of this size. This is a 24-inch box. Now the hole that you dig, you want the bottom of this to fit at the bottom of this and be level with the grade. Some people plant them too deep, and when they plant them too deep, then the soil piles up around the base of the tree, and that causes problems. A couple things. This is the watering berm that I put around the tree. It's basically a basin that will contain the water. It's larger than the root ball. It's about 6 or 8 inches larger all the way around. I made a little mistake yesterday. I planted the tree with the pole in place, and as soon as I released it, it sprang forward a bit. So I put the stake back in the ground and I pulled the trunk back just a little bit more so, and hopefully it'll retain that little bit of an angle so that when I do take the stake off, it'll kind of bounce back into a more straight approach. It wasn't very much, and it's not really that significant, but because it's such a nice straight tree, I'm really trying to get it to develop. Another thing that's important is I put a mulch over the entire area, and the mulch will help retain moisture and actually create the beneficial mycorrhizae that is so important for root development. Now let's talk a little bit about the choice of tree. Now this is a Scarlet Oak, and we chose this tree because, look right behind it, there's a telephone pole there. She wanted a very fast-growing, tall-growing tree, and she wanted something with some color. So the Scarlet Oak has some of the prettiest fall color. You can see there's a leaf right there that's just starting to turn colors. That's in hopes of what we're going to get on the whole tree. So there it is. I wish I could fast forward 10 years in the future and show you what this tree evolves into, but nice thing about this is every time I drive by it, I'll be able to take a look at it and say, that's my tree. Well, 6 years ago and today, actually this is from 2 weeks ago, I went out and I inspected this tree, and it's gotten to be fairly large. It's about, it's probably about 18 feet tall, maybe 19 feet tall. Might even be 20 up there. I was thinking about my 16-foot ladder. From the perspective where they want to see it, they do hide the pole really well. The tree has never been pruned. There's not even been a snip on it, so it's as natural as can be. The base of the tree is now about 6 inches in diameter. That means it grows about an inch in diameter every year since it was planted anyway. And as you can see, it's got a very nice single straight leader for a trunk. It didn't branch off, which is going to bring it up to a good height. And in a few more years, this is going to mask that telephone pole just beautifully. Here it is from the other perspective. I want you to take note of the fall color, because this was 2 weeks ago. It was just beginning to turn, so some of the leaves are still green, and here it is today. So 2 weeks later, it is a brilliant scarlet color. Unfortunately, the sky is not blue here, so the color is not quite right, but this gives you a better idea of what this tree can be. Hey, thanks a lot.